Welcome to the Pre Nup, the wedding obsessed podcast designed to help you plan your dream day. I'm your host, Adriana, and each week I'm joined by the industry's top professionals, celebs, influencers, and friends who are sharing their best tips, advice, and mistakes they've made so you don't have to. The Pre Nup is a Love Stories TV podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Olive Branch Studios. Preserve your wedding bouquet and get 10% off with code PrenupPod10 at theolivebranchstudios.com. You've selected your beautiful wedding flowers and you've paid a pretty penny for them. So after the wedding, you will obviously just let them rot and die and feel as though you've tossed thousands of dollars away? I think not. Today, we are joined by Carly and Hope, the owners of Olive Branch Studios, to give you all of the tips on optimizing your wedding flowers post-wedding so that you can memorialize your wedding day and ensure you've gotten your money's worth. Carly and Hope, welcome to the Pre Nup podcast.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to talk to you about this because you do some of the best flower preservation in the nation. A lot of people don't even know what flower preservation is.
Right.
If anyone's watching, they can see some really beautiful pieces behind you, and that might give them a clue. But we're going to go all into it today. But I wanted to start with something that kind of plagues everyone who's planning a wedding, everyone in the wedding industry. It's really frustrating, but there's just so much waste. So we just kind of toss everything. We purchase all these things for our wedding, and then what do we do with them? So I wanted to talk to you guys because you kind of have found a loophole to that. But what are some ways that you've seen people get around the waste of weddings?
Yeah, I think this is like a newer topic too, just talking about waste in general, especially what's going on in the world around us with the global impacts and everything. One of the big things I've seen besides flowers, obviously, which we know a lot about, is food is another big part of it. And like,
oh my God,
you can
totally.
do, with your food after your wedding, what you can do with your paper goods after your wedding. There's just so many different things that can become waste if we're not really aware of what are the options to do with them afterwards,
So true. And the food thing is spot on because if you're a Northeast person, it's all about the food for weddings and it's an exorbitant amount. It's like, I say it's like old country buffet. It's too much at a certain point. But because of health code, you can't even send it home with people.
Right.
And it's so sad. It's really, really terrible. So you're right. Like that's something that we've got to figure out a way to get around.
Yeah.
But in terms of decor and flowers, not only do you guys do a great job of getting rid of eliminating the waste, so to speak, but you do so in an artful way that it serves so many purposes with flower preservation. So I want you to just explain for anyone who is totally new to this, doesn't know flower preservation, what is it exactly that you guys do with wedding flowers?
Yeah, well, basically, we take fresh wedding flowers and use a traditional flower press. And if someone doesn't know what that is, basically you take two pieces of boards and you have a board, pieces of paper, cardboard, more paper, and you stack the flowers in between those and then put another board and you let it sit for about 6 to 8 weeks until it fully dries out and gets really thin. And that's kind of the process of pressing wedding bouquets. And with different types of flowers and greenery, you have to let it sit for longer or shorter periods of time. And that's kind of the gist of how to press flowers. There's different types of preserving flowers with resin or with air drying, but we typically just focus on pressing.
It's so interesting and it's so much more involved than you would realize. And I encourage anyone who is listening and is like, I don't know what they're talking about. Why would you press flowers? If you could see you guys, you can see the arrangements behind you. But we're also going to link to your website and your socials so that people can see what you can actually do with your flowers. Because again, you spend so much money on these fresh, beautiful bouquets. And I will say, there's other types of decor for sure. And I don't think that you necessarily need to have fresh flowers for your wedding, but there's something about it. It gives life to your wedding. There is a difference. Not just, a beautiful arrangement, but there's an air, there's a smell. It's a living, breathing thing. But then it dies. and then we can't donate them. It's not like we can,
Yeah.
bring them to a hospital. It's really costly to do that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Right.
And then still they die. Like even if we are donating them, someone's bringing them home. So
Yep.
what you guys do is not only really, really helpful, but you do a beautiful job of it too. You're artists. So
Oh, thank you.
my pleasure. No, thank you. So what are common types of arrangements that people will ask for from you guys? Is it usually like the wedding bouquet itself or a centerpiece?
Yeah, so typically we take a wedding bouquets. That's the majority of what comes in. But we also
Okay.
have been picking up from weddings. So we'll take like centerpieces, we'll take like arches. What's the other
We'll take
ones?
like the aisle pieces,
aisle
all
pieces.
of those. Yeah, we'll do like some
And what do
bridesmaids
you do with
bouquets.
them? Do you make a replica of what that piece is, or are you doing different designs? And I know the answer to this, but I want to hear what people do creatively, because in my
Yeah.
mind I'm like stagnant. I'm like, what would
Yeah.
I do with this arrangement? There's so many great options. What do
Yes.
people like?
Yeah, so typically we'll preserve the wedding bouquet and then we'll make it that into a frame, and then they usually give other frames as gifts. So we'll preserve all of those other florals and then make them as gifts for their family members, and we can design it however way they like. And yeah, that's typically what we do with the extra flowers. We love creating frames for family members. I think that's really special, and it's a good way to remember the day for them as well, because they're a part of the big day.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you don't consider that. You go through so
Yeah.
much planning the wedding and you feel like, oh, my spouse and I did all of these things, but it's a huge deal for like parents or siblings, bridal party who are so involved in this and have been since jump.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But you even do things like, I mean, you make they're not just like, oh, the flowers are pressed and it looks like a pretty bouquet. Like you do fancy stuff.
Yeah, recently we've been getting a lot of inquiries for like full gallery walls, which that's been really fun, because then you can take like all those pieces, because like you said, you're paying for all these flowers. Like what's the point in having them tossing in the night when we can preserve them and create something so beautiful for you to have? And like Hope said, it's fun because you can, hand those out to your family members. We do a lot of like mother-in-law corsages that go back to them, and they get to put that like on their nightstand. But there's something fun about like the artistic freedom that some of our brides let us have, because they're like, you just do what you want and make some art out of it. And that's where like Hope's creativity gets to shine, and she kind of leads up that area of what we do, where we get to design these like huge art pieces, and it's more focused on like what we can recreate out of something that was once beautiful and now can be beautiful in a new way too.
And you can keep it forever and you don't feel like, it was so beautiful in the day. But like, what do you really look at the photos of your centerpieces of your bouquet? No, they don't really take limelight. So to be able to see it and hang it on your wall, and it's like, sometimes I feel like people don't like to hang their wedding pictures or too many of them, because it feels cheesy. It feels like a little like, I'll be honest with you, there's not one photo from my wedding in my house, which is terrible. Like I'm 4 years married. I've been meaning to print a picture, but it feels a little self-indulgent. Like, okay, who do you think you are, Queen of Sheba? Like, not the case.
And you change so much from your wedding day too. Like on my wedding day, I was platinum blonde. Now I'm brunette. Like I don't have those photos up in my house at all.
Correct. Like, who was that girl? I don't know her.
Right.
Yeah. So it's weird. And it like styles change too. And I always say this, like, I loved my wedding dress. However, it was of the time. Like things change, they evolve. I went a little trendier and like, no, do I feel like people coming in and be like, what the fuck is that? It's and especially to have multiple photos, but to be able to like see a piece of your wedding and it's also just a piece of art and it's not so wedding in your face.
Right.
It's really nice. So question for you about just the prep of the process, because you can't just like have your wedding and say like, okay, I'm going to go get these pressed now. You kind of have to prepare for it a little bit more. So when do you recommend people reaching out to you guys before their wedding?
Yeah, we always say it doesn't matter how early, and it really like our touch on like it doesn't matter how late either. Like because we have a very tedious process here, we can really step in and help, very early on. We like to work with your planner or with you. So you can do like, add us to your checklist. Like you're 6 months away, go ahead and check out floral preservation because that's something that you knew you wanted to do. And you can get that scheduled away and we'll give you all the pieces of paperwork that you need and you'll be ready to go. Now, because like you said, this is a newer thing. Not a lot of people know about it. So we have a lot of brides coming to us 2 days, 3 days, 4 days after their wedding thinking, oh my gosh, I'm about to go on my honeymoon, or I'm on my honeymoon and I left my bouquet with my mom. Like, what can I do? And so we try to tell brides like 6 months out, 3 months out, 10 days after, we'll still take it. We're here for you. Yeah. We can
Really?
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's kind of unheard of as far as I know in the industry. Are you guys like the only people doing that?
Yeah. We're some of the few, I would say, and I think it goes back to our color correction process that we haven't really touched on yet, but we add color back to our flowers. And so that's why, like, if they're wilting or they're starting to die on you, send them. Send them. They're your flowers. We're going to fix them up for you. Yeah.
So what is the latest that, like, let's say it's a few days after the wedding and someone's like, what did you do with your flowers? And they're like, I don't know, we're holding on to them. And they're like, send them to Olive Branch. Like they'll do them. What's like the last time that you would be able to send?
We've gotten bouquets up to like 3 weeks after the event. And we're still able to take them and work with them. So we're pretty flexible with taking wedding bouquets. We've seen it all when it comes to bouquets being in every condition, and we're still able to make it work. So yeah, we can take it.
That's amazing. I think that's really important for people to know. I didn't know that. I thought it was like, no, you need to have it like ready to go because there's like a part of, even though you're preserving the flowers, they need to be intact in some way. That goes along with my next question, which is just about like the handling. So I always harp on at the end of the wedding, you need a trusted people to collect, obviously, your gifts, your goods, like all the items that are coming home with you. But if you are doing floral preservation, obviously you need someone to get those flowers. And like, is there a way to handle them and care for them in the interim between end of wedding and sending them into you guys?
Yeah, we always just say put them back in water as quick as possible. A lot of times, some planners, I think, sometimes, and I've seen this myself, we're like, well, we want to use it on their head table. If you can avoid that, I think even better. And I think you and I both know the idea of throwing your bouquet at the end of the night is not a tradition that's really happening anymore. No one's really doing that bouquet toss anymore. And if they do, they're using like a small one. Yeah, and it's like, come on, like, we're done with that. So we always just say, like, as soon as you can, like, get rid of it, like, even like before your reception, like your photos are done, you've had a great time with your bouquet, you're going to your reception, you're going to go party it up. Now's the time to either hand it back to your planner, let's get it in some water as quick as possible. And then, like you said, if there's someone that can be a part of that process, that like they're going to take your gifts and your bouquet back to your hotel room, back to your house that night, back to your Airbnb, have that be either your planner, your bridesmaid, your mom, your sister, something like that. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's important to note that like you're not, as the bride, you as the bride, not you, Carly and Hope. You're not going to want to do that at the end of the night. You might be having an after party. You've probably been up since 5 a.m. and you're very sleepy, tired, and you're like also on a high. It's a very weird sensation at the end of your wedding. So put those pieces in place beforehand so that nothing's forgotten. You don't want to be disappointed at like, shit, we forgot the flowers and the venue like threw them away.
Right, exactly. Yep.
So in terms of actually sending them to you guys, what is that process like? How do we package it up? How do we get it to you?
Yeah, so we actually give our brides, once you order, you'll get our guide, our shipping guide, or if you're local, our drop-off guide, but 9 times out of 10, it's shipping. And so all that is we ask you to put a damp paper towel around the base of your flowers so we keep some moisture with your flowers through the transit. Ziploc bag or plastic bag underneath that to keep that water, that wetness in there. And then tie it up either with a rubber band or a hair tie or something like that, just to keep that bottom piece together. That's what's most important, really, is that moisture at the bottom. And then you can pack it up yourself, putting in that protection, either like some bubble wrap, packing peanuts, something like that. Or you can hand it off to a pack and ship store and they know how to pack flowers for you.
Really?
The key is just that moisture at the base so that there's some water in there, some retention happening in that 2 to 3 day travel time.
Okay, smart. You guys should create like a bulb that wraps around like
Yeah.
something, like a
Yeah,
moisture
Smart.
bulb.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's so smart.
yeah.
Do you have to trim anything off?
Usually, no.
No.
No, you can just
Okay.
send it as is. We'll take it.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
You'd be surprised to know how little I know about
No, you're
flowers
good.
Okay.
themselves
This
and
is a
their
very new
life. Like,
thing.
Yeah.
no, and it's so interesting and cool to me, and I love everything about it. I said at the beginning, but it just feeds so many different needs,
Yeah.
and it's a great service. So, okay, what is a standard turnaround time for you guys? Now, you know this probably varies based on a lot of factors, but
Mhm.
what's typical?
Typically, it's around 6 to 8 months. The longest part of the process is the pressing process.
Okay.
And then after the pressing, we put together the flowers back. So we glue them all back together, we recolor them. And then the second longest, I would say, would be designing to make sure it's absolutely perfect for the bride. We make sure things are getting approved by them, and because it's going in their home forever. So we
Sure.
want to make sure it's absolutely perfect for the bride. So that usually takes the second longest next to pressing.
That's really nice that it's a little
Yeah.
bit not, I wouldn't say collaborative because you guys are doing all the work, but you're at least giving, it's
Yep.
like being in the hair salon chair and like you're turned around from the mirror the whole time. You turn
Yeah.
around
Right.
and it's like
Right.
your curtain bangs actually look not the way you expected.
Right, exactly.
You don't want that with your flowers and this
Right.
like this thing that
Mhm.
you have envisioned because
Yep.
Right.
I'm sure
Yep.
there's a lot of expectation with it, but
Yes.
I
Yeah.
I really think that you guys do such a phenomenal job. You're like
Oh.
anyone who's sending to you is in really, really good hands.
Oh,
So
thank you.
yeah, of course. So you mentioned earlier that some people have sent up to like 3 weeks prior or
Yeah.
3 weeks post wedding.
Mhm.
So, we all know flowers, I think, a little bit. We've all killed some flowers
Yeah.
and plants.
Sure.
But what starts to happen is obviously like they brown and they wilt and they
Yep.
tear. So
Yep.
so what happens in something like that where like my gorgeous orchids are now like
Yep.
poop brown?
Yep. Yeah. So a part of our process that we really pride ourselves on is color correction, which basically is adding color back to the wedding bouquet. So typically when flowers press, they lose their color or they change colors and they don't look like the same as it was on your wedding day. But we
Right.
like adding the color back because it'll look like your bouquet. Like it was fresh.
Mhm.
So with bouquets like that, we make sure to go in with obviously more color correction so it looks like your bouquet. But
Sure.
we also have a stockpile that we can pull from. If your flowers were like, let's just say moldy, we can pull the exact flowers from our stockpile and add it into the frame as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's really amazing. This episode is brought to you by Olive Branch Studios. Your wedding flowers are one of the most sentimental parts of your big day, but they're also the first to fade. Olive Branch Studios, a female-owned business passionate about preserving life's moments, transforms your bouquet into a vibrant, lasting heirloom. With careful pressing, color correction, and personalized design, your flowers become a timeless piece of art you can cherish forever. Don't let your bouquet fade away. Visit theolivebranchstudios.com and use code PRENUPPOD10 for 10% off. And you guys, you do it a little bit different. Like any of the other companies I've seen, they're a little bit smaller mom and pop, which is great. Like nothing wrong with that at all. But you do have a little bit more infrastructure and like ability
Yeah.
to create a really beautiful custom piece, like exactly what the
Yep.
couple would
Yep.
want.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Being able to put the color back in, that's really, really interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's huge. It's definitely not the normal for floral preservation. I would say we're one of the few that do color correction, and we started that very early on with the company because it's a reflection of your wedding day. The colors are so important when it comes to weddings, and so to have your wedding bouquet look exactly how it was fresh, I think that's the most important thing. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So it sounds like you're basically miracle workers and you can pretty much do anything. But I do want to ask for anyone listening, is there any certain type of flower that maybe doesn't preserve as well or
Mm.
maybe would do a lot better when even someone might want this like ahead of even choosing their flowers because they know it's like really important to them. So what
Right.
kind of flowers don't fare as well?
So I would say, well, typically tropicals for preservation don't do as well, but because we color correct, we're able to like kind of counteract that. But typically
Yeah.
tropicals, because they have a lot of moisture, they tend to mold a lot quicker. So those are a little more tedious. We have to keep an eye on it, especially with orchids. But again, since we color correct, it's not really an issue with us, but typically
Sure.
tropicals are going to be the hardest ones to work with.
More moisture, more
Yep.
problems in
Yep.
this scenario for
Yep.
flowers.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
that makes sense. But you can still, even if they are
Yes.
tropicals, you'll take them. It's all good.
Yes. They're one of our favorites to
Yes.
take.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What are some favorite arrangements that you've made?
Yeah, I think for us in Florida, we see a lot of all white, a lot of tropicals. My personal favorite is tropicals. I'll take them all day long, every day, all week. They're my favorite. And then Carly's is more.
I like that mountain vibe, like the dried pieces. Like that's so fun. And that's kind of rare to press too, because a lot of people like, I think we love seeing, you were just saying earlier, like cactus, like things that you think we can't press, we can press them. And then it just looks so cool to see something that was once 3-dimensional be 2-dimensional.
Yeah, yeah. It's really, really neat. They're so beautiful. Anything else that you want people to know about floral preservation? Is there anything that we didn't touch on?
I would just be like, if you are wanting or are interested in preserving your florals, like really do your research. I think, and you know, there's a lot of people like us out there. We're not like the end all be all. Like we like to think we're the best, but like obviously that's our opinion because it's us. But you know,
It's my opinion too.
Okay, good. There's so many companies out there that are doing a great job. And you know, we don't want to act like we invented this, we created this, we're the best. Like a lot of people are doing this, and that's amazing, and we want more of that. But do your research on what the process is. We're very open about our process. We talk about color correction. We talk about how we add color back. This can be a pricey product for somebody, and we want it to be worth it. And the whole point here is that it lasts a lifetime. We want this piece to be passed down from generation to generation in your family, just like your wedding dress. Like you see all these girls like wearing their mom's wedding dress to their cocktail hour. Like it's so cute. So this is the same concept of like, we're making something that you can have for years and years and years to come, and you can't tell if it was made yesterday or 6 years ago, and that's the point. And that's why we're proud of our product and what we do, and our color correction process and our pressing process. Like the pressing process takes 2 to 3 months. That's just how we do it because we're old school, and that's how we see it comes out best. We don't want these quick modern day fixes on, oh, let's microwave them, let's dehydrate them. We just don't do that. We're like simple people, and we're back to tradition. So.
No, I love it. And it makes a difference in the quality, and you can see it. You really can see it. I actually love what you just said about passing it along, because I hadn't even thought of that. And I think a lot of times with wedding dresses, like they don't hold well either in storage. So like they come out discolored, but it's a piece of your wedding that you want to pass along other than the pictures. But this is such a great thing because it's like you could put this in your house and like your grandparents' wedding day. Like this is a bouquet for your grandparents' wedding. How many people can do that? So if you can pass that along, I think that's really, really special.
Exactly.
Completely agree.
Amazing. Okay, ladies, I want you to indulge me, I'll say. So we chatted a lot about flowers, but every week we do something called premarital counseling. And that is where a listener will write in a submission. They have a question, a concern. They want us to help them through it. And we had one that was floral dedicated, and I thought you guys would be like perfect for this. So would you be so kind as to help us give some advice to one of our listeners?
Course.
Okay, amazing. I'm going to read the submission now. The subject is Mama Drama. Okay. We usually give them a name. Let's call her Rose for the sake of the episode. Okay. Hi, Rose. And just a reminder, everyone, we always keep these anonymous. If you ever want to write in, you can email Adriana at the-pre-nup.com or podcasts at lovestoriestv.com. And we read them, we go through, and we have some fun. Okay. Back to Mama Drama with Rose. She says, "Hi, Adriana. I've been binging the prenup and have gotten so many ideas for my wedding from the show." Thank you. I am dealing with a bit of a champagne problem, but a problem nonetheless. My parents are contributing the majority of our wedding budget, which we are so beyond grateful for, as I know this is not necessarily the norm by today's standards. My mom mentioned that instead of hiring a florist, she and I would arrange the floral bouquets and centerpieces. This is not what I had in mind. I,
Yeah.
I told her that I would happily cover the flowers. I think she means monetarily. I would cover the
Mhm.
flowers. And she said that if I'm putting thousands of dollars towards the wedding, she would love to see it go toward venue, catering, or something that we're not capable of doing ourselves. I think flowers are such a huge part of the wedding, and I don't want to spend the time making the arrangements for them to look half-ass. Totally get that. What can I tell my mom to convince her to let go of this idea without hurting her feelings or starting an argument? Really starting to see why everyone says how dramatic wedding planning can be. Thank you so much and hope to hear from you. Love, a bride who doesn't want to get her green thumb on her white dress.
Mm.
Cute. Oh my God, cute. All right, ladies, let's get your take on this first.
Okay, this is tough. I think there's like two factors here. First, like the generational differences.
Yeah.
Like that's something to definitely consider. I can feel for this girl. My parents helped me a little bit with my wedding, but they picked like kind of chose what they wanted to help with. This is tough. The first thing I thought of when you read it was, man, having to arrange flowers the week of your wedding sounds like the last thing you would want to do.
It actually
Can
sounds like a nightmare.
you imagine all the stress that you're already going through that
Yeah.
week? Like maybe welcome party, like your guests are arriving that week. All these other things. You're prepping for your honeymoon. You're just, prepping for your big day.
Right.
And then on top of that,
Yeah.
your mom's like, hey, don't forget, we got to arrange the flowers Thursday night. Like, what?
And if you're not someone who typically arranges flowers, like
Right.
it's an art. It's a science.
Yes.
Like it's not a science, but it's truly an art,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of like maneuvering to get it to fall a certain way.
Yeah.
It's not just like, let's put these in a vase and call it a day.
Right.
Yeah.
My advice to her would be like, reverse psychology that on your mom and be like, Mom, you don't want to be doing all that the week of the wedding. You want to enjoy it. Your
Right.
friends are coming. We want to have a good time. Like, just role reverse that on
Yeah.
her. Like, nobody wants to be doing that the week
Yeah,
of.
no.
Oh my God, girls, I love the way you think. I love a little reverse psychology. I think that is like the best way. You just have to make everyone think that it's their idea.
Right.
And if you
Yes.
can successfully do that, then you're golden. Like you will get
Yes.
your way because people just
Right.
want their own way, you know?
Right.
I am so with you on this. I think it's really funny that mom is like, oh, well, like if you have the thousands of dollars, just put it towards something else.
Right.
It's like
Right.
it's like
Right.
it's kind of not the point.
Right.
It did make me think of something just with like floral preservation, just the whole topic of putting flowers together. I think if you want to get into preservation as a hobby or even maybe in the future, like a career, like that is so great, but do not trial it with your wedding bouquet.
Yes.
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 Like
Yeah.
for a first timer,
Right.
you're probably going to learn a lot about what not to do, and you don't
Yes.
want to
Right.
like risk that on your bouquet. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that. But
Right.
yeah, I am so with you. I actually probably wouldn't change a thing about your advice. Like make mom think this is her idea.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
let or just be like, Mom, like I want you to be primed and pampered and like
Yeah. Right.
relaxed that week.
Right.
Right.
And I think
Right.
this is just gonna make it a little bit stressful for you.
Right.
I don't care, but I want you to be happy.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's so many
Yeah.
different like price ranges for florists. Like
Yes.
find one that works for you.
Yes.
Like you don't have
Totally.
to pay 10 grand for your florals. You can
Right.
find more of a $3,000 to $5,000 budget. Like
Right.
there's so many.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of florists in her area that have those different ranges too. And just it's worth the money.
Yes.
Because then you got to think about, Mom, are you going to pull the U-Haul up the morning of the wedding and unload these things? No, like
That's the thing. Yeah.
the
And
before, the planning, the building, the cleanup after. Like let's think of the big picture.
Yeah.
that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize at venues, you have typically like 2 hours is generous. You have like an hour and a half for setup.
Yep.
So you and mom want to go. I know, no, you don't, but like propose this to mom. Like, do you really want to spend the 2 hours before my wedding setting up? Because the venue will
Right.
not assemble.
Right.
A lot of times they won't even put the centerpieces on the table for
No.
liability purposes. Like
Mhm.
you want, even if you are doing your own, like let's say mom gets her way and like you do make the flowers, which I
Right.
think you can get around it. I really do.
Yeah.
You're still going to want to hire someone to arrange them and put them on the table.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
so if you're already doing that, just like, let's go for it. Come on,
Yeah.
let's just
Yes.
let's have someone do the whole thing.
You're right.
All right, ladies. What'd you say?
I said right, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay. And then, ladies, last thing that I have for you today is our after party. So this is just like a series of fun questions, wedding related. So what order do we want to go? Just so we're not over each other. Carly, Hope?
Sure.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. All right. First episode, or sorry, guys. First episode, my brain. Okay. First question. What is your honeymoon hotspot?
Okay, so I grew up in the South, so everyone always wants to say like go to the beach or go on that tropical, but I love the mountains. I love like a little mountain getaway, little big like bougie cabin in the woods. Like that's what I did, and that's what I would continue to recommend.
Where did you go? Where specifically?
I went to Tennessee, so we were outside of Nashville far enough where like we could have our time in the mountains, but then like did a full day in Nashville, so you could get that city feel too. Did a day in Chattanooga, so you kind of do it all. But like,
yes,
at night, I want to go back to the cabin in the woods. So
it's very romantic too. It's like a little secluded and sexy.
Yeah.
When you go on like a traditional beachy kind of honeymoon, like we went to St. Lucia and we were at a resort it was like older people, honeymooners, like young families. And there were 3 other honeymooners there. And then like there were times where I didn't want to hang out with them, but they're just there and they're like waving you over.
Yeah.
So if you can just spend some time together, that's like, it's a little sexy, a little romantic being in the cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
Right.
Alone. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, me. No. Sorry, I was zoning
No,
out.
I'm sorry.
That was okay. I loved her answer. I think I grew up in Metro Detroit, so I grew up in the city, and I love anything tropical. So I think I would do Fiji if I were to go on a honeymoon. Fiji just seems like it's very secluded, and so I'm like,
well, you get that same seclusion of being in the cabin in the woods, but on the beach. Yes.
Yeah. So that's where I would go. 100% would be Fiji.
Yeah, like Fiji, Tahiti, anything where I love those bungalows that kind of sit over the water.
Yeah. Perfect.
They also scare me a little bit, so I don't know if I could realistically say. But I want to like see it. I want to be in it, and then I'll decide if I'm brave enough. But it looks so gorgeous, that like clear water. I'm from Jersey. We have like green water at our beaches. So you know, when I go elsewhere, I'm like, wow, this is really something fabulous.
Right. Yeah.
I get that.
The Jersey Ocean looks like a dirty lake. Okay, ladies, what hors d'oeuvre will you never pass up at a wedding?
I love a good like tuna tartare, just like tuna, like bring out like the raw fish. Like that's the one I'm going for every time.
Hell yeah. Oh God, it sounds so good.
This one was very hard for me because I'm gluten-free, dairy-free, everything. So I think I know. So this is always hard to think about. But I think I would do shrimp cocktail. That one's a safe one, and I love shrimp. So
love shrimp cocktail. Yeah, with a little cocktail sauce. Like I want to slab on even more horseradish.
Right.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, shrimp cocktail is a solid one for sure. It's actually like I think it's pretty necessary on every menu.
Yeah.
Ladies, what is your signature cocktail or mocktail?
Okay, basic white girl answer, an espresso martini. Like that's through and through. That's what I want.
There's a reason it's so popular. Like, there's a reason.
Right.
It's perfection. It gives you the energy. It's delicious.
Yep.
It's a treat.
Yep.
It's perfect.
Yep.
Right.
What about you, Hope?
I would do a Moscow Mule. I love Moscow Mules. Those are the best.
Moscow Mules are great, and they have the fun little yes, we love. Okay. If you could invite any living dream guest to your wedding, who would it be?
This is so hard.
I know everyone hates this question. I might have to do away with this one. People
That's
don't like
really
this.
tough. I think everyone would probably go down like the celebrity route, I'm assuming. So yeah, I would say like Harry Styles, and I would do like get up there, like grab the mic, let's go. Like
Put him to work.
And he seems like he'd be good to party with. Like, get on the dance floor. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I've been
Harry
to
can
his
party.
shows. Like, he does a good job.
Yeah.
So
He's a great performer, and he does seem like a good time Charlie, like
Yes,
a great
exactly.
guest.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Hope?
I would do Post Malone. 100%.
Posty. Oh my God,
Yeah.
I think he's so cute. Like
He is so
he just seems like a little gentleman.
Right,
Yes.
right. He seems like he'd be a lot of fun at a party.
He was on I mean his music is so great, but he was on the Call Our Daddy podcast a couple years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I listened to it and I was like, he is so sweet. He's like,
Right.
yes, ma'am. And like
Yes,
just a
calling
little
her
southern.
ma'am and everything.
I died. I was
Yeah.
like, excuse me?
Yeah.
You are so cute. I didn't realize he was so precious because the face tattoos throw you off a little bit. But he's like
yeah.
a little baby angel. And he's looking
Right.
very trim these days. He's looking great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go Posty. We love. And great music.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, ladies, what is one practical piece of advice that you could give to any couple planning a wedding?
Okay, I don't want this to sound cheesy, but like take a moment and just soak it and let it sink in. Like soak in the moment. You are, as much as you maybe have a planner telling you what to do, or hair and makeup tells you have to be here at this time, or your photographer's telling you this, you have the control to say, give me 5 minutes. Soak in that moment while you're sitting there and getting your makeup done. Like take a second, look around, look at your girls, look at your mom. While you're sitting there after your first look, take a moment with just you and your new husband. Like have a little moment together. Like leave your reception for 5 minutes and go take a walk. Come back. Like you control your day. Don't forget it's your and your husband's day. And just like take a step back and sit there. Your wedding day goes by so fast. I'm sure you can relate to this. Like you wake up and then all of a sudden the day's over. So
That's fun.
I mean,
It's like that.
yeah, that would be my advice.
And to your point, like, yeah, everything feels so rushed and like, it's like the timeline.
Yeah.
Guess what? Nothing's happening without you. You're the star of the
Right.
show. Like everyone will just have to
Exactly.
wait and things will get pushed and moved around. And like, is it ideal? No, we want things to go by a timeline, but don't make yourself sick over it. Like this is a
Right.
party. Let's have fun.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, Hope, what about you?
I would say with what we've heard from brides, I would say a wedding planner or day of coordinator is like the way to go, the best thing to do, so that you're able to, like Carly said, enjoy the process, relax a little bit. Someone knows the schedule, they've got the schedule, and you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to plan for that. So I think that would be what I've seen the best thing to do is some kind of wedding planner or day of coordinator.
It really, I mean, it seems like it's self-interest, but it's not. Like hire anyone, I don't care. But like a month of or like a month of a coordinator is technically like a 3-month coordinator. And like it goes beyond that because they involve themselves in more. But like a day of or month of coordinator at minimum. Just so it's like we were talking about with setting up the flower arrangements for Rose. Like you don't want to be the project manager. Like you want to kind of serve as like, obviously you're kind of a host, but like also a guest. You want to come in and like just enjoy yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I think that is spot on advice. Ladies, you are fabulous. Olive Branch is fabulous. Tell everyone where they can find the business, everything.
Yeah, you can find us online at theolivebranchstudios.com, and then our Instagram and Facebook is The Olive Branch Studios with 2 S's at the end. Couldn't get the original one, but that's okay. But yeah, that's
Bastards.
where you can find us.
Amazing. And we'll leave it in the notes, but I thank you so much for being here. This was so informative, and I think everybody is just going to flock to have their flowers preserved. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we love your audience, and we hope they reach out soon because we'd love to work with you guys.
Thanks for tuning into the Pre Nup. Today's episode is brought to you by Olive Branch Studios. Preserve your wedding bouquet and get 10% off with code PrenupPod10 at theolivebranchstudios.com. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform or on the Love Stories TV YouTube channel. Follow at _pre_nup and at Love Stories TV on Instagram for more. Have feedback or suggestions for the next episode? Feel free to reach out to us at podcasts@lovestoriestv.com.